Hey, guess what time it is? It's speed build time because it's always what time it is. Now, you may notice this thing that I do where I start with like a house that looks done on the outside, and that's because I spend, no joke, like almost an hour always just building like an exterior of a house. Just trying to figure out inspiration, I guess. That's the hardest part for me, is just figuring out how I want the house to look from the outside, right? When I build the outside, I always put the windows, and then I will go in and do the inside. And I kind of try and build it around the exterior that I already made. Yeah, and I genuinely think that that's the process that works best for me. Now, with this house, I wanted to do kind of a lot of stuff with eco lifestyle because it just came out, so I'm obviously obsessed with all the new items. But then I also wanted to make sure that it was a family home still, and I actually ended up being very happy with this one. And I put in a few build tricks that I really like. You'll see me do a thing with the half wall on the stairs right here. And that's something that I have done in a previous build that I actually really enjoy, where you can see the stair through the half wall a little bit. And then I also I do a lot of loft kind of spaces, which I'm not sure perfectly worked, but it's something that I enjoyed putting in houses when I can. The other thing you might notice that's a little bit funky is that some of the windows from Eco Lifestyle look a little weird on the inside. Those ones that are almost triangles pointing out. On the outside of the build, they look awesome. On the inside of the build, they look a little bit funky, and that's because there's a glitch with the pack. But I like the windows on the exterior so much that I just kind of thought, I'm going to ignore that one. Also, if I sound a little bit funky, it's because yesterday morning I got my wisdom teeth out. So now I'm all sore and whiny and sad, and this is just who I am now. I also really struggled to kind of find some furniture that worked. I didn't want the house to be, I didn't want it to not look like a family home, which is something that I struggle with when I make houses modern. But I also didn't want it to not match the modern windows on the exterior. So it was something I struggled with. And there's also, you'll notice that the speed build footage doesn't include all the stuff that you'll see in the final screenshots, and that's because I went and I built this house, and I had some idea of the family I wanted to live there, because I'm building it for my save file, but I wasn't entirely sure on what that family would be, but what it ended up being is just a nice little family, and they have a teenage daughter who's big emo energy, super angsty teen, who has a nose piercing, and she got a tattoo without her parents' permission using a fake ID kind of thing, And then the mom, I knew that I wanted the teenage girl to be kind of more emo, because I made her room almost a little bit goth. Well, I guess super goth when I made it. But I wasn't super sure on the rest of the family, and I ended up making the dad kind of more of a businessman, which is how they can afford this nice house. But then the mom, in my mind, she was very caring of the, essential oils, and I don't know, I got that vibe from Karen. That's not her name. I can't even remember. I think her name was the daughter's name is Nora, not the mom, but I don't know. She's very caring, and she believes in essential oils, and she stays at home and runs yoga classes. That's her job in my mind. So I ended up putting a bunch of yoga mats outside that you don't see in this speed build footage, that are in the screenshots. You might notice that some of the furniture I placed down originally looks a little bit stupid. That kitchen didn't work. That was just because I was trying to put filler in the kitchen to see how much space I would have, and how it would kind of be mapped out, which is actually something that Deligracy does in a lot of her builds, where she'll place furniture and kind of build the rooms around that. And so I was kind of just taking inspiration from that with, I wanted to make sure the floor plan worked downstairs before I made the upstairs floor plan, so I could place, the stairs and stuff. And so, that's kind of what you'll see me do, is just go, and I placed, a filler table and filler couches, and then I ended up changing the couches, and then I ended up changing the kitchen and changing the dining table. I also ended up with a lot of downstairs space that was kind of empty. And what I ended up doing is, because I wanted it to be a very family, loving home, like a very family-oriented home, I put a bunch of kids' toys in that space, which I felt like made a lot of sense. And the parents' bedroom you'll end up seeing is kind of lofted, and that is because they can see down into the space below them to like check on their kids as they're playing in the living room. Because I imagine with like the mom being a stay-at-home mom, that just made like some amount of sense that way she could work in her room on her laptop upstairs, you know, setting up like things with her clients, which are her yoga clients, setting up appointments, and then watch her kids downstairs, you know. And yeah, I also, I wish we could just see the landscaping now, but alas, here we are in the dining room. The landscaping is one of my favorite parts of this build because I ended up doing some tricky tricks where I did like a kind of split level decking almost, and that was hard to do, but I just kind of hit, because you can't match foundations that aren't the same height, and they, like, you can't make them touch in the game, so I just kind of like hid the one space between them with plants, and I think it looks pretty cool. And like the other thing about this house is it does look a little bit empty in some spots. Like I think there could definitely be more furniture to like the side of the dining table where there's all those windows. I think I could put like an end table or something. But I also recognize that I do this thing where I clutter all of my builds like crazy, and if I do want it to be like a working save file, I maybe need to tone myself down a little bit, because not everyone can just have 50 bajillion items in their game, you know, without it running super slow. Like even my game runs pretty slow because I have all the packs and stuff, and I have like a pretty nice laptop, I would say. And so like I'm not making the houses pretty, and like the kitchen has a ton of clutter items, but I also figured like the dining room looked pretty good the way it was, so I just left it, right? Like no problem with a little empty space in there. And if you wanted to fill it with like a little couch or something, you definitely could. You could put like a seating area over there, a bookshelf, you know. There's definitely like room to put things in that spot. I just like didn't want to do that if it wasn't necessary, I guess. You can also see the struggle of like fencing and whatnot in The Sims 4. And can I just say, one of my biggest pet peeves with this whole game is I hate how like when you have your walls down, when you're like in gameplay mode, when you have your walls down, stupid pillars still stay up. Like I know that a lot of builders like to go and put pillars on all the corners of their builds, and I actually think that looks really nice, and it's something I would do more often, except for the fact that it is freaking the worst thing ever, because you're in gameplay mode and you can just see pillars everywhere, and it's just annoying at that point. So I use them a bit more sparingly than I would like to. And I also did not realize how sore my mouth would get just from talking, because I have not been talking for the last day. I've just been sipping soup and, I don't know, not talking. I've eaten a lot of soup and a lot of Jell-O and a little bit of ice cream, and now I definitely want more ice cream. But I think, like, altogether, this is a house that I ended up really loving, and that I could definitely see myself playing in. And I think, like, the idea of, like, that rebellious teenage daughter, with, like, that stay-at-home Karen mom makes a lot of sense. Like, it's just so funny to me, because, like, I don't know, I think if my mom were, like, a essential oils Karen kind of mom, I would be, like, not into that. Not that there's anything wrong with essential oils, because I use them. I just, like, not a super pseudoscience-y kind of person. It's not how I vibe. The other thing I have to say is eco lifestyle. You know, when they released the game, it needed to be patched kind of immediately, which was unfortunate. And there was also, like, the whole fact that the simming community, when the trailer came out, was so horrible about it. But can we just admit that some of the build and buy mode items are, like, terrible? Or, no, not terrible. Whoa, really good. Because, like, yeah, glitchy windows, boo-hoo, I'm crying, so sad. But also, that wooden wallpaper, stunning. And that wooden, like, hexagonal floor that I use in the bathrooms here, you know, it's wooden, so, like, you wouldn't use it in bathrooms in real life, but it looks like just, like, a really fancy, like, stone tiling in the game. And I love it. I think it's awesome. It's, like, one of the best wallpapers we have in the game for sure. And I also really like the paneling wallpaper that comes with it. I don't end up using it in this house, but I use it in other builds I've made with the pack. And I can't freaking stand how much I'm enjoying this, like, the build items in this pack. And I also like the added challenge of having build mode items you can unlock. And obviously I used a lot of the unlockable ones in this house just by using a cheat. I used testing. If you hit Control-Shift-C in the game, it opens up the cheat bar, and then you can type bb.moveObjects, which is what allows you to place things freely off the grid, and you can type in cast off full edit mode, so when you go into cast, you can edit your Sims faces and age and whatever. And then what else? Oh, and to get those hidden objects, you can type bb.show hidden objects. So bb.show hidden objects, and that's how I got like the 2 beds I use in the kids' rooms are both unlockable beds that I wouldn't have been able to get just through the normal build catalog. And I don't know, I'm just super into this pack. I think it's awesome. And the curtains that come with it too. They don't come in like a huge array of swatches, and I know a lot of people are mad because it seems like they're kind of like recolors of like the Seasons curtains or almost like the City Living curtains is what it kind of seems like. But the City Living curtains and the Seasons curtains are also my favorite curtains in the game. So I don't really care like that they're recolors, because it just gives me more options with my favorite curtains. Like the curtains that came in this pack, like the shape of them is the curtains that you see in most like houses today, right? They work with modern builds, like those modern windows they look great on. So they work with modern builds, but then they also definitely work with like just like suburban family homes, right? So those curtains are the best curtains in the game, fight me. But I love them. Oh, and this is like the emo teenager's room. And the other thing that I kind of struggle with in Sims houses is I never really put wardrobes when I should, and I tried to put one in this teenager's room because in my mind, like, a teenager has to have a wardrobe, right? But like even then there's like not a mirror in her room, and like you don't need it in The Sims, so to me it's like no biggie, because like I can just click the mirror in the bathroom and it'll do the same thing as the one in the bedroom. But when it comes to making realistic houses, I feel like I oftentimes in The Sims don't give myself enough space to put things like a wardrobe and like a mirror in bedrooms. And then you'll see this massive, massive parents' bedroom, but that's because I wanted it to double as an office space. And yeah, I also definitely, because I also have like the living room with that open, like long ceiling that you can see up into the upstairs hallway. If I had had a ceiling over the living room and made it so that that wasn't open, I could have obviously fit more bedrooms and a lot more things in this house, but I just didn't find it super necessary. I don't know. I just think that sometimes less is more. And I also I ended up loving this house a lot when I built it. And I didn't want to do anything that would make me love it less, if that makes sense. Like, I like pretty much everything about it, so I just wanted to roll with it. And, like, I just kind of figured that, you know, they're a richer family. They can afford to, like, not use all their usable space. Like, they can have this giant loft area. Like, that to me is, like, the bougiest thing ever. Having, like, those double floors, because it's almost, like, wasted space. Like, ooh, so bougie. But I'm really proud of this one. And I also think that, like, the outside space ended up being really nice. I am not always the best at landscaping. Like, the trick with landscaping in The Sims 4 is just, like, overlap, overlap, overlap. You gotta have bb.moveObjects on so that you can overlap your plants and, like, freely place them. And wow, oh, wow. It is so freaking nice. Like, it's just, like, that's, like, I'm so proud of it, because I'm not the best landscaper, but the outside of this house turned out really nice. And, like, it's not even because of the landscaping, it's because I put, like, a lot of objects out there. There obviously aren't any pack limitations that I used on this one, because you can see there's objects from Seasons and Eco Lifestyle and freaking every pack ever. Like, I think I see paintings in, like, the son's room from movie hangout stuff. And then, like, plants from, like, I don't know, like, what was it, the patio one, you know, the patio stuff pack. Then I ended up using the hot tub that I also think came in, like, the patio stuff pack. But then I also have chairs from Seasons, and then I also have, like, I really didn't hold myself back too hard. Oh, and I have some plants from Jungle Adventure, and stairs from Get Together. And then I have a lot of stuff from Seasons in this house, too. Like the stairs and the fences, and yeah. Oh, and then I have Island Living stuff in this pack. Like, I think those lounge chairs are from Island Living, and the indoor tables from Island Living, and the kitchen counter is from Island Living, which is a pack I don't utilize all the time, so that was fun. But yeah, just know there's like no pack limitations here. And I ended up using the yoga mats from Spa Day stuff because I ended up having her be like, yoga teacher vibes. Like the mom is yoga teacher vibes. And then I also have a fireplace, which comes with outdoor retreat. And then, I definitely wasn't trying to limit myself in any way. I also think that my utilization of base game items was pretty cool. Because, that outdoor, deck table thing, that coffee table on the deck, that came from base game as well. But it got added in an update a while back in, the Caribbean patch update. And I actually, I never use it, but I love it. And so I'm glad I got the opportunity to use it. I think it looks really nice as an outdoor table. And yeah, I'm trying to think, what other cool things did I do here? Oh, there's a bicycle from university. Man, I really was not trying to limit myself at all. I think that I have some stuff from, kids' room stuff, and I don't even know. But I think that overall, this house, I like how it's so mixed packed because it gives it so much, vibrancy, and I think that really shows that, you can play The Sims with the base game. You can. And I love the base game, and I think the base game, with all the additions they've given to it, is a good game, right? But to play it with all the packs adds so much life to your Sims. It's insane, right? How much, more alive my Sims feel because I can have the mom be a yoga teacher from home, right? And there's not really a way to do that and earn money in The Sims, but, maybe I just host parties and yoga parties. They just do yoga together. I have a club event where she does yoga and then I just add money to the household. There's so many more options for giving your Sims life, and it's awesome. I think that we, as the Simming community, like to be oh, the packs don't come with enough and blah blah blah. But I think we have to realize the Sims team really does work to give us a lot, and they oftentimes succeed. Eco Lifestyle comes with so much stuff in it. And even, just the packs that we've gotten have become so, so expensive that when you have them all together, you have so many real-world things. Oh, I don't have a tramp for my kids, but, I do have a hot tub, and I do have a swing set, and those things weren't in the game when we got them. And they do come in packs. And so I think the Sims team is trying to give us things. And, yeah, there's so many more things I want. I didn't want cars until recently. I just started wanting cars, and I want more stuff for kids to do, and I want more stuff for old people to do, but, I also like having yoga, and I'm not ungrateful for my yoga, and I'm not ungrateful for my recycling machine, I should have put solar panels on this house. That would have been the real winner. Maybe we'll go back and do that. But yeah, you'll see, we're about to go into screenshots, which will have a fence and stuff that weren't included in this, but I'm gonna go now, so have a great day, bye!